Hi guys, Rose here with the Cackling Moon, and this is going to be a deck review video. The deck that I'm going to be talking about is the Starchild Tarot. Now, I purchased this deck maybe 6 months ago, maybe even more than that. And I've always been attracted to this deck, even when I was scoping it out before I even purchased it. And I knew that I wanted it in my collection. Now, when I ordered the deck, I was super excited for it to come in the mail. And when it did, I was, just blown away by how beautiful the artwork is and all that. But I didn't connect with the deck. And that was what was really upsetting for me because I had waited so long to finally, go and order it. The deck is a little bit more on the pricey side from what I'm normally used to spending on my tarot decks and my oracle decks. I'm usually in the ballpark of anywhere from $10 to $25 at the most for a deck. So this guy was a lot more, much more pricier than that. But I totally felt it was worth it. And literally, I really, really wanted it in the collection, in my collection to work with as well. So when I didn't connect with it, I was a little bit taken aback. I was a little bit disappointed. But that's okay because sometimes it takes a while for a deck to warm up to you. And I'm really starting to see that that is what's happening with the Starchild Tarot. I have been noticing that it has been popping up in the most randomest places, on Instagram, on Tumblr. People are talking about it now, and I've just been noticing it all around. So by me taking notice of it, it is definitely a sign for me that this deck is kind of calling out to me. It is definitely trying to get my attention. So that is why I'm going to be doing this deck review for today, because I want to introduce it to you guys since I haven't really worked with it. You haven't seen it in much of my photos that I post on my Instagram or my Tumblr blog. So I wanted to introduce the deck to you guys. So this is the box that the deck comes in, and it is a aquamarine-ish color, and has the different suits on all four corners. So this deck goes by swords, wands, diamonds, I believe it's diamonds, and chalices. So the box is your typical, like an oracle deck box. So that's what's really cool about this deck, is that it comes in a nice box. And it also comes with a guidebook. So the little guidebook is, it's a really nice size guidebook, to be honest. And it talks about each of the cards and the spreads and all that, blah, 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 blah. Typical stuff that the guidebooks talk about. So found this really handy, kept this in my purse because I was, reading up on the cards and really hoping that I would, build a connection with it, but I didn't. So that's that. And here are the cards. So the cards are they're large. They are a typical, like an oracle deck size. They are very large and they are very sturdy. The cardstock is very sturdy, which does make it a little bit difficult to shuffle. And for me personally, I like my decks when they are thin, like the thinner material, because they do shuffle a lot easier. This deck is a little bit more difficult to shuffle. So that's has its setbacks with that. But if you do like a really good sturdy cardstock, then you'll love this. Now, the backs of the cards are they're like a very pale grayish to a blue color, and very pretty. So very geometrical. This deck is very geometrical, and the material, not the material, but like the oh, what would you call it? um, it's a matte finish. It's not glossy or anything like that. So those are the backs. And then here are the cards. So like this, they're all out of order because I was trying to work with them before. This is the Ace of Crystals. So just as an example, the crystals, so it's crystal, not diamonds, I'm sorry, but the crystals are in replacement of the pentacles suit. But it's very pretty, and I don't know if my camera is going to grab, oops, there goes the camera. I don't know if my camera is going to grab the image great, you know, perfectly, because the lighting is crap in my apartment, but I think that they're just gorgeous. Each card has a very galactic universe, astrology, like just all of that. The stars, the moon is really prevalent in this deck, which is another reason why I loved it. The other thing I loved about it is the images, the individuals in the cards are actual photographs of people. So it's not like a not art that's drawn, it is actual people that were photographed. And it does look like they are kind of implanted in there in kind of a scrapbook type of a look. This is the Four of Wands. So also another thing, and this is probably another big reason why I didn't connect with the cards right away, is because they do not follow the Rider-Waite themes. So Rider-Waite decks, and then the decks that do follow the Rider-Waite system, have a certain look to each of the cards. Well, these don't follow that at all. This is the Ten of Wands. So that was another challenge for me. And I think because I wasn't ready to follow something other than the Rider-Waite, because I personally adore Rider-Waite, that's a big reason why. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. I have to balance the camera because the way it is, it balances on my laptop. So I apologize. But anyway, because it doesn't follow the Rider-Waite, I think that's why I was so turned off by the cards, and I just didn't read. I didn't connect with it, and that's a setback. That was sad. It made me sad. This is the Five of Cups. So as you can see, like here, the cups are somewhat turned over. In the typical Rider-Waite, they would do the same thing, but then the setting is, you know, in this forest, and of course there's the moon again. So it takes a lot of intuition to read the cards. You're going to be trusting your intuition. This is the Temperance card. You're going to be trusting your intuition and trusting, you know, looking at the images and allowing the images to kind of tell a story for you. This is the Queen of Crystals, or the Queen of Pentacles, I believe. Isn't that so pretty with the lion? Or not the lion, the tiger. Sorry, guys, I had a long day. I'm tired. The moon. I just think they're so pretty. It's such a gorgeous deck. Here is the Five of Swords. And I do believe the moon is in a lot, if not all of them, but a lot of the images. And that was just so catching to me because I connect with the moon. This is the Knight of Wands. And this is the Empress. Look at this card, you guys. Look at how gorgeous. So geometric, just so pretty. And we all know the Empress is feminine energy. So it's just, you know, you can definitely see that. Here's a Two of Crystals. You can definitely see how you could read this card. You have to trust your intuition. You gotta go with all the images, but it's also just basically like your feelings while you're looking at the cards. And then also for me, I know what works for me when I'm working with a deck. Like when I was working with this deck before, I didn't know. I mean, I know Rider-Waite like the back of my hand. So I use that, you know, like knowing what the Six of Crystals is, or the Six of Pentacles. Like I know what the Six of Pentacles would mean in the Rider-Waite deck. So for me, like I would bring that to this one. But it is also important because this deck comes with its own guidebook. It's important that you guys take some time to kind of read what the artists, their own personal interpretations would be for each of the cards, because like I said, it doesn't follow the Rider-Waite system. So the artist has their own way of what they describe each card. Doesn't mean you have to follow what the artist is saying, but it's nice to know or nice to see what the artist sees, like what is going on in the artist's mind and in their eyes when they're creating this deck. So that's why I was reading the guidebook a little bit about the cards, and this is the Ten of Cups. Yeah, just you guys have to just, if you're open to a challenge, I do feel like this deck is definitely, if I had to rate it, between like a beginner level to, you know, somebody who is a little bit more advanced, I would definitely say this is a deck for advanced readers. Doesn't mean that it is legit, you know, only for advanced readers, but I'm just saying, for me, myself, I like to think of myself as, you know, I'm very familiar with the cards, but for me, I didn't connect with it, and I do feel like it had to do a lot to do with the challenges that I face with that, and this deck, I don't think this deck is a good deck for beginners to try with, because if you've never seen tarot before, some of these images might, you know, confuse you. Let's see. Like, here's one, the Seven of Cups. The Seven and the Cups of Tarot would show, like, you know, different opportunities being, opening themselves up to you and whatnot. But this one, you know, it's a little bit different. You have the cups, and then you have these gorgeous looking crystals inside each cup. But it's kind of like, what does your intuition tell you when you see this? Do you see multiple opportunities, or do you see something else? So for somebody who is brand new to the tarot, you know, if you're not used to trusting your intuition, this could be a challenging deck for you. So I do feel like this deck is definitely, you know, it has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages, and I do feel, that's my own personal opinion, but I do feel that this deck would be quite a challenge for beginner readers. But it is definitely something that, if you love the stars, the moon, if you appreciate art and you just love like some, you know, a difference in the tarot, I mean, this is gorgeous. Like, you guys have to, this is definitely something I would recommend to add to the collection. Here's the Lovers. Isn't that so pretty? So I hope that, you know, seeing the deck opened your eyes to it, and I hope that it inspired you guys. If those of you who are, you know, looking to purchase this deck, hopefully this inspired you to really want to get it. I personally love it. I think it's going to be a deck that I'm going to be opening up to this 2016 year. I really want to start working with it more. I think that it's going to advance my reading skills. It's definitely going to challenge my intuition, which is something I do need, because with the Rider-Waite, I do get challenges, but this deck is definitely going to put me in a whole new perspective of the way that I view the cards, and really testing my intuition for clients. So I am looking forward to reading with this deck and learning and advancing. So this is probably a deck you're going to see more of. If you follow my blogs and my Instagram, you'll probably see more images of this deck coming up. Like I said, I didn't use it much, so I didn't photograph with it too often. But I do own it, and it is probably my most expensive deck that I own. But I do love it, and I'm glad that I purchased it. So, and I love it because you guys can see, like, there's no glare. There's really no glare on the cards, and that's because it's a matte finish. So I really appreciate that the artist did that, because everyone knows how annoying it is when you're trying to get a gorgeous picture taken of the cards and you can't get that perfect picture because the stupid glare from the light. So I do appreciate that the artist did that. But there you go. So, and oh, and that's another thing. Like, this one says Serenity. The artist did change some of the major arcana. So that's another reason why I say this is good for an advanced reader, because here's one. This is Oppression. I do feel, I think Oppression, I think this one was in replaced for, I don't know, maybe it was the Devil card. I'm not sure. But yeah, they did replace some of their cards, some of the names of in the major arcana with different names. So it's just a different deck altogether. See, it's like a real photograph of somebody. Here's the Seven of Swords, and it's just, you know, it's just swords. So there's images like this where you're kind of like, what does that mean? So intuitively, you have to just tap into that, and that's a good challenge. So I'm not going to show the rest of the cards because I want to leave, you know, some stuff open for your imagination to kind of guess, but I hope that that was a good batch for you guys to see. And I do want to show you how it is to shuffle because I personally love to shuffle dovetail. But I don't think that that's possible. One, because the deck is large and I don't have big, I don't think I have big hands. I think I have average size hands, if anything. But I do find that shuffling, there's just no way. I mean, I could do it a little bit, but they're stiff. They are very stiff cards. The cardstock, like I said, is thick. So for those of you who have small hands like me, if you wanted to shuffle this deck, I would recommend shuffling it sideways. So you could definitely do that. If you break it in enough, like this deck is totally not broken in because I didn't work with it much. So once you break it in, shuffling might be a little bit easier, but you could shuffle that way. This way is probably the easiest way to shuffle the cards until I break it in a little bit more to where they will bend easier. But like I said, I'm one of those people where I'm not super picky about my decks. When it comes to wear and tear, I actually prefer wear and tear on my decks. I think it shows that I put a lot of love and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into them. So, you know, one of these days when this deck is able to bend some more, I'll be happy because then I can shuffle it easily. But for now, the shuffling part remains to be quite a challenge. So I guess it would probably be just an overhand shuffle for now. Okay, guys, so that is the end of this deck review. And again, for those of you who are interested, this is the Starchild Tarot. You have to go to her direct website. I guess if you could just Google Starchild Tarot, it'll take you to her website. I don't think it has it anywhere here, but you have to purchase it through her website because oh, here we go. Starchildtarot.com. So check it out. Go to starchildtarot.com and then you can check out her deck, purchase it. I know she's in the making of creating other ones. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, let me know. Thumbs up the video. Leave me a comment if you guys have questions. And I will see you guys later. Bye.